Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the TB&J podcast. With me today, as always, is my partner in crime, Troy Brittingham.
As always, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Ackerman.
Except for when I'm not here. I haven't been here before.
You have, very rarely. You're usually here.
I think I'm probably the most consistent second.
No, you just don't have a life.
That's why I'm the most consistent second.
And special guest, Red, my fiance. What's up? Yay.
Hi, I live here.
Yes, you do live here. That is true.
So I'm
then
kind
why
of
aren't-
also the more consistent second
Well,
because
you're
I
not.
live
You're
here.
not on there though. So
Yeah, you're not. You're always here, but you're not like here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Most
always-
consistent audience member.
always second place in Jeff's heart. Just saying.
Yeah. First place is
Me, right?
Patrick Stewart. But
Oh.
enough of that. Let's get on with the
Not who I was
Super
expecting.
Mario Brothers movie.
It would have been funnier if instead of the theme song you had the old Do the Mario like Bob Hoskins.
Would it have been funny?
I would have chuckled heartily.
I would have chuckled when I got the copyright infringement letter.
Well,
And then I would have been like, oh,
that's
shit.
Neither here nor there. Also, that's the Bob Hoskins the movie. The show is somebody else. Anyway, the podcast.
Super Mario Brothers movie. If you guys aren't familiar with the way we do things around here exactly, everything gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Was it good? Was it bad? And then we talk about it, and then at the end of it, we give it a more specific lettering grade kind of a thing, as a better grade of like, was it really shitty or was it kind of good? So we'll start off with the thumbs up, thumbs down shit. Troy, how are you feeling about this movie?
Thumbs up, thumbs down. It can only be good or bad. The Mario movie.
The Mario Brothers movie. Luigi's there too,
Yeah.
kinda.
This is maybe the hardest thumbs up, thumbs down of the whole podcast.
You're like super square in the middle here, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm going to say thumbs up.
Okay, pretty hesitant.
Sure.
Darlin, how you feeling about it?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Thumbs up, but it was almost painfully mid. Very, very small thumbs up.
I am thumbs up.
Okay.
I am also thumbs up, and here is why. So let's talk about what was good about the movie first, shall we? Good things about the movie. Casting. Very few complaints across the board, honestly. I kind of really enjoyed Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, even if that character
Interesting.
was played completely wrong. Like, the writing for Cranky Kong was shit. Fred Armisen was great. I want to make that distinction right there.
That's very interesting.
Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen, great.
Interesting.
Written like shit, but Seth Rogen did a good job. All right? Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. Again, written like shit, but Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job as Peach. And I
feel like I'm picking up a trend here.
Jack Black. Really love
That I
Jack
can
Black
agree
as
with.
Bowser.
That I can 100% agree
Jack
with.
Black as Bowser is
No.
probably like the shining star, no pun intended, of the entire fucking movie. I will honestly say. And I
Sure.
don't know if you guys know this. We're recording this a little later because it took a while for Troy to see the movie and all of us to get together about it. But Illumination released a music video for Peaches by Bowser that has cracked the Billboard Hot 100. As of
really?
it is number 41 right now.
That's very
Wow.
funny. 41? That's
yeah,
pretty good.
it is number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100.
It
right
wasn't
now.
like 89 on the 100.
No, it wasn't like barely squeaking in. It's number 41.
It's in the top 50.
Jack Black has always been such an effortless classic, and this is about as effortless as you can be.
Peaches. Oh!
I was wondering if you were going to go for it.
I had to pull back a little bit so I didn't completely destroy my levels. But yeah, dude, honestly, that song fucking slaps. And I remember so clearly when it played the first time in the movie theater and then he gets cut off by Kamek coming through the door. A little kid was like, "Good, Bowser, you suck at singing." In the movie theater, just like super out loud, just yelled at the screen. And I just lost my shit. I was laughing in my seat. And like, this movie, it's not great, but like, I laughed out loud a few times.
Sure, 100%. Same
It
thing.
could have been way worse.
The audience that I was in, it was all children and then just me sitting there, a 27-year-old man.
For the record, that is most movie theaters that Troy is in.
I like
I
a lot of
think.
animated movies.
We should probably call the authorities.
I
right?
like to think that Troy is just drastically out of place in whatever scenario they find themselves in that is out in public domain.
It's like
Like everywhere they go, they just turn around and they look and they're like, I don't belong here.
Yeah, it's like I'm a comedic side character in any sort of like sitcom or something like that. I'm like the Todd Chavez.
Reminds me of
BoJack Horseman.
oh god, was that Friends where they're like all on the plane and they're looking around and everybody's a bald white guy and they're just like, oh my god, they're on their way back from the Mr. Clean convention in Santa Monica or
I
some
have
shit.
no idea what this is.
You don't.
I don't know my 90s sitcoms.
Where's
enough, man.
friend of the pod Dave Arnott when you need him? He's got like an encyclopedic knowledge of Friends. God,
It's like being the personality hire, but like for the entire local community. Just everywhere you go, you're like the only one that's like you.
everywhere you look, everywhere is
There's
a
a
heart, is a hand to hold on to.
You're very singy today.
Apparently, I don't know what this is. I'm stone cold sober too. Troy, what did you like about this movie?
It visually looks incredible.
Yeah, visually really well done.
It
Illumination's always made good looking movies, but like, I feel like they only know how to draw one dog.
Yeah.
And it's the same dog in every movie.
That's a good call. There's two movies. The
Such a
secret.
specific complaint.
No, but he's right though.
I wanted to enjoy this mid-movie so bad, but that fucking dog, I see it every goddamn where I go. It's like Troy, the personality hire for the community. It's just the personality dog
you
from
can't
Illumination.
bring back your own jokes.
Yes,
No,
I
you-
can, and I will.
How do you explain me on this podcast?
I don't.
I'm the guest. You have to appreciate me while you can hear me.
I don't.
Wow. Okay.
I'm the host. I have to do exactly nothing except press record and then hit publish.
Yeah, but it looks really, really good, and it simultaneously looks like the game, but also has like kind of like a fun spin on it. And like anytime they're like actually platforming, it's very fun.
Yeah, and like the 2D bits, like where they're running through the city trying to get to the location, it's like two-dimensional. So I think it's just side shot really,
Sure.
but they're running through and doing jumps and climbs, and Beastie Boys is playing for some reason.
That's another thing. We'll get to that when we talk about
the
negatives.
second half, the complaint part. Good things only, good vibes only. Let's go.
On the same track though.
Live,
I
laugh,
think
love.
Anytime it is like a revised sort of like game soundtrack thing, I think all those soundtracks are really good.
Did you watch the credits? Do you remember? Did you see who the composer was?
I do not.
Brian Tyler, a.k.a. the guy who scored Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
That makes sense.
Honestly, like that is my favorite video game soundtrack of all time, and this might be one of my favorite animated movie soundtracks of all time. Like, this soundtrack does so well at taking the classic sounds and spinning them and just zhuzhing them up just a little bit to make it sound appropriate in a movie, and it's fucking gold. Every time it was an original soundtrack moment, it was awesome. I did think that all the licensed music was out of place, but that's neither here nor there yet. But the original soundtrack was fucking amazing. I really, really loved it. Brian Tyler, you knocked it out of the park yet again. Fucking love that man's work.
And then my last sort of big positive is you were talking about casting. My big two that I give a good like casting score to. I think Jack Black obviously is the best one in the movie, and then I really liked Keegan-Michael Key's Toad.
It wasn't terrible.
No,
I think Toads in general in this movie were poorly written,
sure,
but I think Keegan-Michael Key did a great job as Toad, and I didn't even know it was him until the end.
And they did a good job at making him. I was like, yeah, that's kind of how Toad should sound, without making him go, wow, Mario! And then everybody's just like, oh, God, I can't fucking do this guy for 2 hours.
Yeah. And I love that they gave it, like, the Captain Toad vibe.
Oh, and not 2 hours. Another plus of this movie, 1.5 hours. Stop doing this, guys. Stop making fucking 3.
This is the shortest movie you guys have covered in quite a while,
yeah,
isn't it?
I love John Wick 4. It is a 2 hour and 45-minute movie.
Yep.
We watched Avatar. Jesus Christ.
Avatar was so long I had to pee twice.
I just want every now and then. Some movies can be long. Some can be long. Just make some
Godfather
of them,
Part 2.
Make some of them 90 minutes.
I mean, yeah, and honestly, I kind of figured that was the case. I didn't know what the runtime was going into it, but I was like, it's an animated kids movie. There's no way it's more than 90, maybe 100 minutes.
You'd be pretty surprised in some of them. Some kids' movies are pretty long nowadays.
Really?
They're real afraid to do 90 minutes on most things now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I don't have numbers on the top of my head, but
it's so hard to make kids sit still.
Exactly.
If you're gonna make a movie for young children, you can't have it be long.
This is like the best.
Especially because fucking, I remember I was a young kid. I would watch the same movie 8 times in a row, just over and over and over and over and over. I'm sorry, you had a point that I stepped all over. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that like this is also a movie where we're talking positive, but not that positive on it.
Yeah.
If it overstayed its welcome, we'd be a lot more negative.
I think that's
a very solid point you're making.
It's a very, very solid point. If this movie had been another half hour long, I probably would have a lot more problems with it. But the problems I do have can kind of be shrugged away because it's like, if you like Cranky Kong, he's only there for 10 minutes. And then he's gone. And you never have to deal with him again. And that's fine. If you didn't like Donkey Kong, great. He's got 12 minutes of screen time, if that.
It's like dinner with the in-laws. Like, this is god-awful, but I'll be out of here by 5.
Dinner's over by 5?
Said the in-laws. Yeah. They're like in their 60s now. You know, we're getting old. You're going to be 30 soon.
Dinner's over by 5? What fucking world do you live in?
When I grew up, dinner was at 4:30 because my dad was old.
I'm sorry you were abused as a child.
Well, that's for a separate podcast entirely. Moving on.
That's not suitable for air. What did you enjoy about this movie, darling? I know that you don't really do these kinds of things.
I already told you.
I think Jeff already knows this because of my reaction in the theater, but my favorite part of this entire movie was the little blue star in the prison that had I don't know if anybody from our generation still remembers the ASDF movies on YouTube, but it had very similar vibes.
Our generation will. The next generation doesn't.
It had very similar vibes to Muffin Time. Like the little muffin that's like, I want to die. Like, and everything anytime happens, it's like, misery is pain. It's beautiful. Who cares? We're all going to die. Like, I loved that so much. It made me laugh every time.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. And I remember seeing it, and it's one of the times I did openly laugh out loud in the theater because I was like, oh, they took the cute star from Super Mario Galaxy, the ones that are super like peppy and supporting you throughout the whole game, and they turned it into this cute little nihilistic bastard who's just depressing all the other prisoners and making them wish for death. Like, I didn't know I wanted that until I saw it.
Depressing a cyborg from the Teen Titans, which was the I don't know his name, but that's the guy who played the Penguin King.
Oh,
I don't know his name off the top.
That's that actor.
That's Cyborg, yeah.
Oh, wait, Cyborg from Teen Titans on Cartoon Network.
Yes.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you meant Cyborg from
actor.
Justice League.
No, voice actor.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool, fine, awesome. I was wondering why he sounded familiar. That's great, that's great. Penguin King was awesome. I felt the intro to this movie, which has been on the internet for a hot minute now, because it was like,
it was the first trailer,
yeah, it was like the first look. Did a pretty good job of, making of establishing the universe that we were in, and trying to make Bowser, as hilarious of a character as he is, trying to make him a little, ferocious and intimidating to the world around him.
I think they did a pretty good job at he's like kind of scary and goofy at the same time.
Exactly. And that's kind of what the Mario games have always done as well. People are acting like, oh, he's such a big goofball. It's like, I mean, have you played Super Mario Sunshine or Galaxy or Odyssey? Odyssey, he kidnaps Peach to marry her and then goes to different galaxies to steal different things for their wedding. And you have to go to these different galaxies.
This has never been a franchise that's taken itself completely seriously, and I don't know why anybody ever expected it to here.
No, I literally don't understand why anybody is looking at this like, oh, they've ruined the source material. What fucking source material?
That's the whole thing.
You jump on turtles, you kill the bad guy, that's it.
This is a movie that is pretty heavily compared to the Sonic movie, even though it's really not that similar. But, like, obviously they were going to get compared. And it really showed everybody, wow, Sonic is a character who already had a pre-established personality, and Mario was not.
Yeah.
Mario jumped and yahooed.
That's literally it. That's you've hit it right on the fucking nose.
He eated a mushroom. That's
but he doesn't like mushrooms.
Oh.
He picks them out of his spaghetti with his very large, stereotypical New York Italian family.
I also loved Mario's family.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. I loved seeing them all. And of course, Dad's like, son of mine. And then as soon as he saves the city, it's like, my boy, you did it, yeah. It's like, fuck you, Dad.
My favorite part of that was all of the family members being like, oh, Mario, you're a failure. You never amount to anything. You suck. And then when somebody's just like, that was pretty mean, they're like, what did I say? What do you do?
Literally any stereotypical Italian family. I bet if I pulled D in here, he'd be like, oh yeah, my in-laws talk like that all the time. Like, that's literally how they talk. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Now let's move on to the fun part of the podcast. Troy, what'd you not like about this movie?
It just doesn't really have a story, like, at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but, like, it's the story is really Mario's brother is captured. Go save him.
Yeah,
which is also the games. Peach, but
it's most of the games. Luigi's Mansion is the other side of the coin.
Also, they do. I understand the idea of not having Peach be the one captured. At the same time, I feel like if you wanted that to be the case, just don't capture anybody, because Luigi was just useless in this movie.
Well, in fairness, there's a reason he's always player 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's never particularly...
Is now a good time to tell you guys Luigi's always been my favorite over Mario?
I love Luigi.
I've actively disliked Mario since I was a little kid. I can't really explain why. I just took a liking to Luigi instead of Mario.
I mean, you have a lot of unexplained vendettas.
Is it because Mario looks more like you?
It's because go fuck
Do
yourself.
you self-insert yourself and now you're uncomfortable with anything Mario-related and you prefer Luigi?
No. If you want me to
psychoanalyze this.
Okay, when I was 4, my favorite color was green. I liked Luigi more, so I played as Luigi.
He's
also
getting very defensive.
He did. He really did.
It was all color coordination. I was fucking
See,
fuck you guys.
That voice just went up 2 octaves.
Guess what? I get to mute.
Did you mute yourself?
No, I didn't.
I was just...
So the green button is a solo button, which means that is the only line that will come through.
Gotcha.
And then the red buttons are individual mutes.
You
thought what?
I thought that you genuinely just muted all the audio on our audio-only podcast.
No,
it was just a few seconds
I was just fucking
silence.
with my buttons, because don't you fuckers forget I'm God here, okay? All right? This
God
is my
complex,
playhouse.
God complex, I get it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You two can't be allowed on the podcast anymore if you're just going to shit on me.
Troy, I appreciate you very much as a human being, and I feel like we make an excellent pair.
Let's focus on the movie, please. You fucking nitwits.
Was that your laugh?
What did you like about it?
It sounded like a strangled
Red,
hamster. Are you
focus,
okay?
focus.
I'm sorry.
Please, actually focus. What did you like about the movie? Or what did you hate about the movie? I'm sorry.
I was going to say,
you got me so upset that I got fucking...
You wanted to hear some positives again.
No.
What do you like about me as a person?
Why did you say yes to marrying me?
You have a lovely smile. Anyway, the one thing I liked was the star thing. As far as what I disliked, Troy had a really good point in that I feel like I watched a 90-minute overview of the universe, but I feel like I didn't get, like, an actual bona fide story out of the universe, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense.
It was just like a rehashing of 100 things that we've already seen before in slightly different variants.
It also felt weird to me that, like, they drove out of the Jungle Kingdom, which apparently is a thing, and they just happened to fall onto Rainbow Road then. Like, I felt like the geography of this map was really fucky, which, I get it. You're going through warp pipes into different worlds. Geography doesn't really need to mean anything. But they kind of imply geography does mean something when they say, if Bowser takes the Mushroom Kingdom, you're next in the Jungle Kingdom, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how am I supposed to understand that or acknowledge that or know that?
I need like a Game of Thrones style intro so I can see like the map and how it connects to other parts of the map.
That'd be awesome if we got like a very rated R Mario movie with pure like travel and
just
and
like
sex.
Blood dripping off the table in the intro. But you've touched on like my second half of what I was going to complain about in that If I was 8 years old, I wouldn't really care about anything that you just brought up. But like with the critical thinking skills of an adult, this was very obviously geared towards all of the 8-year-olds that are spending money on their Switches.
And I think that's one of my biggest problems with kids' movies these days. Movies specifically made for kids, like Strange World that came out recently. We got Mario Brothers movie here, fucking Detective Pikachu. I feel like they're all just trying to sell me a toy, and they're not actually doing a good job telling a story. Granted, that's nothing new.
Sure.
See G.I. Joe, the original run of the Turtles, and all sorts of bullshit.
I think what you're describing is capitalism.
I mean, yes, but not really. Capitalism, if you're going to try to sell me a toy, then tell a story.
Sure.
I feel like it's not even just selling you a toy, though. I feel like and that's another good thing that you brought up is the Detective Pikachu, you have Pokemon, you have Mario, like, you have a lot of stories that have been told for a handful of decades now, and as the producer of this, you kind of have to make a call between, am I appealing to the younger, youthful audience that is just now getting into this world, or am I appealing to the older generation that remembers when it was released and played it growing up and is now looking at it with the critical thinking skills of an adult. So you have to kind of try and appeal it to a very wide audience as far as age range goes.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of where our struggle is. Was like, is it visually appealing? Absolutely. Like, did they cast good people for the roles, even though they weren't always written well? Yeah, I think most of the castings were really good.
I didn't even hate Chris Pratt. I didn't love him, but I didn't hate him.
No, then exactly. Like they picked a lot of big names for marketing purposes, obviously. Like, and for the most part, a lot of the roles were well done, despite the writing or whether it was good or not in each scene. But it was very obviously tailored towards like an 8-year-old to watch it. Like
exactly.
There wasn't a lot of like critical anything there, and I think that was a big part of the issue overall.
Mm-hmm.
I almost am opposite on the voice thing, and this is not just like an internet Chris Pratt thing.
I know that you kind of raised your eyebrows when I said all of the voice actors that I enjoyed.
When I was saying that my shining examples of this movie are Jack Black and Keegan-Michael Key, I think it's because those are the only ones that I kind of liked at all.
Really?
Charlie Day's okay as Luigi, but just isn't in the movie. I thought
just wait for Mario Brothers movie 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's actually what's happening is you're gonna get a pretty good second movie, I think.
Yeah. And did you see Jack Black wants Pedro Pascal to play Wario?
That's a good
as
Wario.
Yeah.
As Wario.
That's not a bad.
He wants Pedro Pascal to join the cast for part 2 as Wario.
I mean,
Pedro Pascal is the new Ryan Gosling. Like he's in everything.
Ryan who?
Right. Can you not?
Gosling.
I like half swallowed when I said it. I know how to say his fucking name.
Unfortunately, that is how this podcast operates, and most podcasts in general. Is if you mess up, it's really it's.
Also,
it's
you shat on
Gunsville.
me with Troy for a good 10 minutes. Go fuck yourself.
Well, one of them was justified and one of them was not.
Yeah, mine was justified because you misspoke. Anyway, continue.
That was my real point, was that Pedro Pascal is just everything right now, which I'm not complaining about. I love Pedro.
And Pedro Pascal and Jack Black are probably the two most likable current guys in Hollywood that I can think of.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, sure. Tom Hanks is an older.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah,
but he's still a likable guy in Hollywood.
Sure.
Jack Black's old too. He's in his 60s, I think.
Yeah, but Jack Black, I feel like hanging out with Tom Hanks, he'd be like, oh, let me show you my stamp collection. I'd be like, okay.
Actually, he's got a typewriter collection.
I know he has a typewriter collection.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But like, I feel like if I was given the option to hang out with Jack Black or Tom Hanks, I feel like Jack Black would be more fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would get along better with Jack Black just because, like, he plays video games and listens to punk rock.
I think he knows what a child is.
Tom Hanks has a couple of them, I think.
Yeah, well, we know about Chet, so.
Wait, Chet Hanks?
Yeah, Chet Hanks. You don't know about Chet Hanks?
No.
His weirdo son?
I'd prefer not to,
right.
if that's the thing.
Everybody look up Chet Hanks. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, cool. Well, we are definitely leaving it at that.
But whatchamacallit, what was I saying beforehand? Oh.
Likeable guys in Hollywood to lead a movie?
No, I was going to say the voice acting.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought, somebody who I like otherwise, I kind of thought Anna Taylor-Joy was very phoned in this movie.
Yeah?
And like I heard a thing of somebody being like, if you close your eyes, you would barely know the difference between people. except for Peach because she's a girl. And
they all kind of have the same infliction and dereliction a little bit.
Well, I mean, they all sound distinct enough because you'd be like, oh yeah, that's the one that sounds like Seth Rogen. But like, I wasn't.
And he makes his pecs dance.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed with any of them. Also, interestingly enough, I thought Cranky Kong was maybe one of the most annoying voices I've heard in a movie in a while.
Oh, Cranky Kong was an annoying character, but like I think I just might love Fred Armisen so much, and I do genuinely love Fred Armisen a lot. He's one of my favorite comedic actors of all time, and he's also an amazing musician. If you ever get a chance to see him live, because he does perform live, it's incredible because he brings all the instruments out and then uses loop machines to create the song behind him, and then he'll pick up his lead guitar and then just play. And he'll play original things, he'll play covers of things, and it's just perfectly done because he can just play everything. He's amazing. I think he's also the band leader of Seth Meyers' late night band on CBS, ABC, NBC. One of the three-lettered networks. And Seth Meyers is my new favorite late night host since Conan retired.
Yeah, but Red was saying a thing that I was starting to touch on, a thing that really the problem with this movie in general and reviewing it at all is it is really a whole thing where it's like
it doesn't feel like a movie.
Every complaint you give of like it has like a really really like not even paper thin like hair thin plot. It has like the voice acting I didn't think was like perfect, like super lively. At the end of the day, there's like people will just respond back with just like, yeah, well, it's like it's the Mario movie. It's like a kids movie, and it's like, yeah, that's valid. I get it, but like also, if we're not going into it, then what are we doing here in this podcast?
Yeah, no, completely accurate. But Troy, there's something about you that just makes a guy come out of his shell.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna start singing again?
Peaches, 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 peaches.
I think you should sing us out.
Oh, yeah!
Sometimes I like to think that our neighbors mumble in Ukrainian to each other about how much they hate the man next door. And how loud he is.
If there's anything I know about our neighbors, that they don't mumble anything. Anyway, we have loud neighbors. So, Troy, do you have anything else you want to shit on this movie about? I think we can pretty much wrap this up.
Yes.
Like you said, paper thin plot. Voice acting is there. A couple people did a really, really good job. Some people did a passable job.
Sure.
Characters were shittily written, but part of that's kind of because nobody had an established personality.
Maybe the worst scene in the movie is Mario basically being like, "Oh, Peach, you have this whole sad anime backstory where you have no parents. Do you want to like maybe go into that?" And she just walks off and looks in the distance and she says, "It's a big universe out there." And then the scene just fucking ends.
She says there's a lot of galaxies out there.
Sorry.
Implying Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, but it really was just like, do you want to elaborate on your backstory? And she goes, no. And then the scene
character
ends.
development? No, no, thank you.
It was like, if we are cutting scenes in movies and getting rid of like deleted scenes, what are we doing here? Why do we have this?
Yeah. Also, backtrack. A couple of those characters, I was wrong. A couple characters in this movie have personalities and backstories.
Mm-hmm.
Including Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong.
Sure.
And Diddy Kong, who's in this movie for 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Less than that.
If you remember the Donkey Kong Country games and the Donkey Kong animated movies that definitely exist, look up Legend of the Crystal Coconut. They have personalities that are widely been established. Cranky Kong wasn't really great.
Well, sure.
Very poorly written character. And but I do love Fred Armisen, so like I'm torn here. Cranky Kong fucking sucked. Real bad. He's also not the king. All right? DK's always been the king. Cranky Kong's just his grandpa. And he's not in power. Because when you get old enough, you should step aside. You should acknowledge that your time is up, old man.
Gainsbourg.
Who?
Isn't the senator that's like 89 years old?
Feinstein?
What did I just get?
Dianne Feinstein from California?
Where did I even get that from? I hope you
I
cut that.
have no idea
I
what you
need
just
to cut
said.
that.
I'm not cutting it. But yeah, so I just I didn't like the way a lot of these characters were written, but fucking
It's always at the end of the day gonna be, why you complain it's the Mario movie.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I gave it a thumbs up, is I have a similar opinion.
I gave it a thumbs up because it's similar to The Room or Birdemic. Like, I watched it. It's not great, but, like, I laughed. I enjoyed the time.
But this genuinely made me laugh. Like, there's things where I'm like, no, this was funny, though. Those are like, they decided to make this, and that's not what this is.
I was laughing with it. And it was all right.
I wasn't bored by it.
Yeah. And there were a lot of Easter eggs in there for people that have played Nintendo for years.
I mean, basically the whole movie's an Easter egg.
The whole movie's just Easter eggs. Did you catch the super obvious Easter egg right in the beginning after the terrible ad with the fake accents, where the Mario voice actor, he's just like, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
He's at the end too.
Yep. He's at the end.
Charles
Martinet, he's in there. Also, Alduin. Yep. From Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just fucking. I don't know, man.
So, what is our letter grades?
That's a great question. What is our fucking letter grade? Let's start with you. Since my fiance seems to be previously engaged with the cat.
I mean, it's understandable. I think that I cannot imagine another letter in my head that's not a C. C is right dab in the middle.
I think I have to agree with you. It's a C.
It looks very good, and it is a movie, and I watched it.
Of all the movies I've seen this year, this is one of them.
That's absolutely. And now, is it the best animated movie you've seen this year? What's another one you've seen?
Well, that's not really fair because earlier this year I watched Howl's Moving Castle.
That came out this year?
No. You said it's the best animated movie I saw this year.
Okay.
It was the best animated movie.
I mean, Howl's is much better.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. Are you kidding?
It's incredible, actually.
Yeah.
But no, 2023?
2023.
Have you seen another one?
No.
There you go. Best one you've seen so far.
I saw the trailer for Strange World, and I was like, this looks like a flaming pile of shit.
That was last year. You're fine.
Oh, really?
I think it was last year. I could be wrong.
I thought it was early this year. Definitely look into that. While Red thinks of her letter grade. Standard school rules apply. A, B, C, D, F.
I know. I'd see.
See?
That like there was nothing offensive. There was nothing offensive about this movie, but there was nothing that would make me watch it a second time. It simply is. It exists.
Okay.
I acknowledge it.
That's fair. I'm at the same boat. The podcast gives it a C.
November 23rd, 2022.
Really?
Yeah, Strange World.
I really thought it was this year.
Yeah, so you're the only contender that you knew of is not a contender.
Cool. Awesome. That's completely fine with me. Because I saw the trailer and I was like, what a fucking flaming pile of garbage.
I think it'll probably be wrong. I mean, it's already out and people didn't watch it, but, you know.
Yeah, that's just it. It's a Disney movie. And they're always like, everyone sees Disney movies, but nobody saw that movie.
Mm-hmm,
because
they put something out like the same time as it, I remember. I forget what it was. But they really, they really like... They buried that movie under something, I think. I think it came out like the same week as Avatar.
Because it sucks.
Or no, it came out like a few weeks before Avatar, but like still. But yeah, I'll probably watch it one day and, you know, just to knock it off of like the Pixar kind of bucket list.
Do you have a Pixar bucket list?
I tried to...
Bucket list is some strong phrasing.
Yeah.
It does make it sound like I'm...
I think it's more of a to-do list than anything else. It
That's
sounds
more of that.
I had some obligation in that
it's
statement.
It's a chore list.
I was more questioning why you felt you had an obligation to watch it.
No, I just try to watch everything usually. So I watched Wendell and Wild the other day, the claymation one with it's Henry Selick who did whatchamacallit? Nightmare Before Christmas, James and Giant Peach, all those like claymation kids movies.
Oh shit!
It has Key and Peele in it.
You're saying Nightmare Before Christmas is a kids movie? That's some pretty loose interpretation of the phrase kids movie.
Coraline is in the same boat, yeah. Even James and Giant Peach a little bit.
Little bit.
And Wendell and Wild is definitely their most adult. I think it's a PG-13 actually.
Wow.
And I thought it was fine. I didn't really like it that much, unfortunately. I was excited for it and I didn't like it.
I rewatched Nightmare Before Christmas recently, and I gotta tell you, that movie should be PG-13.
Sure.
That should not have been shown to like 5-year-olds.
If you watch Wendell and Wild, and I still think I didn't like it that much, but I still think it's worth not ignoring. It's definitely a little bit darker than that even.
Yeah. So that's it for Mario Brothers movie. So then I can tell you real quick. I never saw John Wick, at all. I saw the first one like years ago when it came out.
I saw it with you.
And then I dropped off the map. Red and I have been catching up on John Wick. We're about to watch part 3.
Mm-hmm.
And holy fucking shit, John Wick's really good.
I'm interested to see you at the end of the John Wick movies because...
Have you seen 4?
I have seen 4.
Okay.
It's my dad has this weird take where he's like, yeah, there hasn't been a good movie that's come out in like years except for John Wick. So he's like, we need to all see John Wick. So I saw it like the day it came out.
I don't think your dad and I agree on a single goddamn thing in the world.
In his defense, John Wick's pretty fucking badass.
It's pretty good. It's a very good franchise. And
I'm literally trying to think of a single goddamn thing. I was like, sports. No, your dad's a Cowboys fan. Fuck. What could we agree on?
But John Wick 4.
Oh yeah, that's right. Troy used to be a big Dallas Cowboys fan when we were in school.
Named after Troy Aikman.
Named after Troy Aikman, the quarterback back in the 90s.
3 Super Bowls.
I just got read into football like last year as the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl. So.
But what was I saying? Oh, John Wick, the first one, it has probably the most, like, it gets wild after that, where it's just, like, him just fucking mowing through 8,000 guys, which is also the first one.
Yeah.
But, like, the first one's, like, oh, there's emotion behind it, and, like, you know, he gets beat up by all those guys. By the fourth one, he's just fucking Superman, and he gets shot 900 times and is alive.
Not a man, but a machine.
Exactly. Like, he's not really vulnerable to things. Well, he is. He gets beat the shit out of every movie. He's always bloody by the end of it, but, like, he doesn't die. He's, like, nearly invincible.
Yeah.
Well,
he's back.
Yeah. I am interested to see, because people are pretty much saying at this point, either the first one or the last one is the best, and it just depends on your opinion of, like, where you think John Wick should be as a person. 4 is people who are just like, the fight choreography is fucking incredible, and I just like him killing guys for 4 hours. And then the first one's
245, come on.
Yeah. But then the first one's like, oh yeah, no, actually, it's like a movie about how his dog died, but not really, and like, you know, there's heart in his.
It's aggressive therapy for his grieving.
And then, but like the fourth one, you're just like, this is just fucking. He's just going crazy, and that's like the whole.
The first one at least had a lot of story keeping it going. The fourth one is like, I am sitting down to watch Keanu Reeves beat the shit out of people for 2.5 hours, and I'm not sorry about it.
I think that 4, not to spoil anything, but 4 kind of brings some story back into it, which I think is why it's in contention at all.
It got perfect scores on a couple movie rating platforms.
I will spoil you. I think that 4 is my favorite.
I think IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. It sat at a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for a very long time. I think it's in the 98, 97 at this point. I want to say not Metacritic. Games Radar, that they have their movie review branch. I think they gave it a 10 out of 10.
I'll say this. I don't think that this is recency bias. It was genuinely one of those situations where, as I was watching it in the theaters, as the credits started to roll, I was like, I think this is my favorite one. Like, it was like an instant, like, yeah, I think this is the one that I like the most.
Yeah, it's pretty fun good. I was afraid that it would become like the Fast and Furious, like, of action movies like that, where it's just, you watch Fast and Furious these days to see what Vin Diesel's going to do with a car next.
It is.
They went into space. They came back from space. They went through a tank, and they stole a safe and drove it across rooftops.
It still has a chance to do that because they're doing, like, a TV show and spin-offs now, so we'll see what happens there.
I'm afraid of that. I don't want them to.
I think that the John Wick movies, 1 through 4, I think are going to be sort of like this timeless sort
like
of
the original Mad Max trilogy almost.
Yeah.
Or I guess quadrilogy if you include Fury Road.
Yep, absolutely. And Fury Road's maybe also the best one.
Fury Road definitely better than 1 and 3, but it might be on par with 2.
2 is tough.
Yeah. Mad Max 2 was really fucking good.
They're also they're very similar movies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they are both big car chases in the desert when the other two do weird stuff with them.
But 1 has Charlize Theron in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on. South African princess Charlize Theron.
She's great.
She's wonderful. So that's it for Mario. If you liked us, do the thumbs up, stars, all that bullshit. Leave us a kind review on your favorite platform. Blah, 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 blah. You know what to do.
Give us 5 very depressed, nihilistic stars.
Rate us as highly as you would John Wick 4. That's it. Thank you all for listening. You're beautiful people.
Kill Jeff's dog.
I don't have a dog.
Exactly. It'll be easy.
We have a cat. You can have her.
No, you can't.
All she does is shit on my floor.
That's not true.
It's kind of true.
She
and
also
hide in bags.
She
likes
also
any
kills
and all
mice.
size bags, any crunchy bags, any non-crunchy bags, any paper bags, any plastic bags, all the bags, man. She's down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been like you could hear it, but like the cat has been wrestling
She's
with
just
the
been
bag.
batting around a grocery bag for half the
entire
podcast.
podcast.
Goodbye.